Hey gents, it's here. We finally got this drop. The sweet mid-month V735 update from Marvel Future Fight has landed. Everything should have been completed. Seemed like there was some updates, some things wrong with, I guess, War Machine's what you call it, but War Machine looks like he's taking a backseat in this update. If you're being honest with you, Loki seems like he's prime time and where everybody's mostly concerned about, making sure this juice is worth the squeeze. So let's jump in here, take a look at these uniforms for Loki. Already we got here on the screen Loki with the madness being the Presidente Loki. I already gave y'all the download about Loki's the Vote Loki four-part miniseries that they did in the comic books. I think this Loki's acceptable. I've seen them do better jobs with costumes and details. Yeah, I've seen them do better, but this is a good costume for Loki in terms of looks overall. And then we've got the TVA variant Loki. I think I'm a little bit more of a fan of the TVA variant look because it just looks a little bit cleaner. But let's be honest. When I look at Agent of Asgard, that uniform kicks. This one literally, that one pops. It pops. So I don't know what to say, but it's a little weird. But the uniforms look good for the game and the generation in which it serves. So basically, you've got these uniforms here, and like I told you guys, they were going to come as synergy uniforms. Basically, you can see right here, they share uniform XP, uniform ranks, and the uniform options. One unpurchased uniform can be purchased at a discount. The bonus option will be applied to synergy uniforms if owned to. They're not extremely detrimental. Like these aren't gonna be breaking. You know what I mean? Like 5% and 5% all attack and all defense doesn't mean shit. But even your 5% all attack, that's pretty decent. But it's not gonna be like groundbreaking or anything like that. So the commentary is: which uniform should you pick up? Which uniform should you not? My opinion is you should pick up both of them. From initial tests, it looks like players are seeing some high bonus damage, some high upgrade stats with these characters, and some definite usage across the board. Typically with Loki, with synergy uniforms, as long as I like the character and it's a character that I really like, especially like if it's a T3 character or something like that, I always suggest just pick up the most beneficial costume in terms of the synergies. Or if it is, just pick up the one that you like the most. You can always go back in there later on and get that discounted price. So I'm gonna show you what I mean by that right now. Basically, I've got the Loki uniform here, the El Presidente. I happen to like the variant Loki's skill animations more than I like the skill animations on President Loki. That's just me. Now, some of the stats across on the President Loki seem like they're way better than the stats on the variant Loki, but that's a choice for you. I think I'm going to end up having this one equipped though. So President Loki, as you can see, the first uniform was 1,050, and then we get another additional decrease right here. So now we're just purchasing a uniform for 630 crystals. So booyakasha, no problem there at all whatsoever. The good thing about leveling up a uniform for Loki is that he is simply he's not a native tier 2, so in that regards, he's just a tier 1 character. Pretty easy to level up his uniform. Let's go in here and take a look at this. Where's my team? Sorry guys, I've been feeling underneath the weather. Definitely not feeling that great today, but let's go. Here we go. So we got Loki sitting here. I don't have Loki at tier 3. I can't take Loki to tier 3. Mostly because if I looked at my inventory stacks over here and we go to my materials, like I said, I don't have enough materials. Universal books along with these Essence of Dimensions, they just do not seem to be dropping for me. So I can't T3 them, but you don't need me to T3 him to know the skills and give you the low down dirty, because we've already had this Loki out for a while and Loki didn't break any metas. This doesn't look like this. Neither one of these uniforms are going to be groundbreaking in terms of hey, Loki's going to be telling people take a seat, have several, sit back. No, he's still like he's going to be good enough for World Boss Legend, so he's a good character there. He's still like he's going to be good enough for alliance battle, so you'll be able to use him there. So realistically, this is a uniform, and I say this a lot: do not invest in characters that you really don't intend to play. If you are going to play those characters, get ahead and jump in on them. Like Loki, for me, I took the time to get Loki all the way up to level 70 because I like Loki, and I haven't leveled up his gears to level to 25 because I don't have an intention of T3ing him at this point. But Loki's always one of those characters that's at the top of my favorite list. I love the way his T3 animation looks. We've just been getting a lot of universal characters that I like a lot more. So in that regard, Loki just was took a back burner for me and for some of those. But let's take a look at some of these skills now. So that's what we want to see, right? We want to see the difference between these uniforms. But first, let's jump in here. We can get on this uniform list and we can do some upgrades. So if you've been playing as long as I have, you can simply do some of these upgrades inside here. Get this character boosted up. I'm going to go with 60. That should be enough. Now I went with 60 in there because 60 was literally like, if you saw it was like 60%. I don't necessarily need to go all the way up because my VIP level, so I'm getting a bonus for those things. So first uniform, you can see Loki upgraded. It was Herald of Thor. That's a pretty good choice for in my opinion, for the Loki uniform to have that Herald of Thor being the first one. So we at 61. That's cool. That should get me to 100. Probably could have went less than that, but I ain't gonna keep playing. We've got Colossus Phoenix 5. That's not a bad uniform. Like I showed you guys in some of my Doom videos. Still a good uniform for Colossus right now. Though I would love to see them drop that that Juggernaut uniform for Colossus. I'm like, Jesus, when they gonna hit my man Colossus with that? You know, like I feel like he getting shafted. So we can go 50 on that. Let's go ahead and hit that uniform upgrade. So there we go. Marvel Studios Avengers Infinity War. Man, that's not a good one. That's not a good one. Yeah, that's not a good one. And the reason why that's not a good one is because clearly we've got the in-game version of Thanos, and unless you've just been around playing, yeah, that one kind of sucks because you don't want to level up the Infinity War uniform. It's not better than the in-game uniform. And to be honest, because Thanos is a native tier 2 character, leveling up those uniforms costs money, a lot of money. So it's not, yeah, I don't know. That's not a good uniform look right there. That one's going to cost, that one's going to break your bank. Oh, God, this is terrible. Terrible. I can understand why they put the Hyperion classic uniform in there, simply because Hyperion and Loki, the cell shaded costumes, came out around the same time. This is the best uniform for Hyperion, but I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, that is a trash ass freaking uniform upgrade right there if I ever seen one. I don't think the cell shaded one, the shell shaded one's popular at all. Like, I mean, I don't think anybody was feeling them. I damn sure wasn't. I damn sure didn't want to see a cell shaded Hyperion uniform. Now they could go back in. Hyperion's uniform hasn't really changed too much over the years, so they could go back in at some point and they could give us Hyperion. Hyperion just had a really popular series run where he's like killing all the goddamn Avengers and heroes and villains in the whole world. I mean, it was like one of those, you know, one-shot comics that we used to get back in the day, but it was spanned over a longer period of time. But you know, have at it. So next we got Spider-Gwen. That is a good uniform. That's probably her best uniform. Spider-Gwen is a pretty decent awakened character. So I would say, yeah, you know, jump in on that one. But like you can see, so I've got mythic, and then we got advanced because right around the time that I was leveling up this uniform, they just immediately dropped the in-game uniform. So I was like, all right, whatever. Then we got the Hyperion. I don't even think I own this uniform. No, I do. There goes the bad thing about Hyperion's uniform, right? Hyperion is you're not going to get bios just willy-nilly for Hyperion. So it's hard to justify like leveling up Hyperion's uniforms. Like Hyperion was one of the Ultimates characters. It was hard as hell to get his bios. It's still hard as hell because he's an exclusive character damn near. So you're basically using a mega rank up ticket for his uniform rank up ticket for that. I don't know, man. That was a trash ass what you call right there. So right here we're missing out on basically 2. The energy attack over here is not bad. We need to change some of these stats over here. So when you change up stat, guys, I'm gonna do this just so that way you know, right? Basically look at your character's details first. So for instance, you can see that I'm pretty much maxed out on critical damage. I'm maxed out on attack speed. I'm even maxed out on dodge. I've got my max reduced cooldown and I've got my ignore defense. I can see my exceeded stats as well. So I'm over 7.25. I'm just under, just over by 4.6, and I'm over by 9.71. I'm over by a lot on dodge rate. So clearly when I go inside here for my character gear, I can look at which one. So critical damage is what's topping me off here on my character gear. Perfectly fine. I don't need to really drop any more on that, right? Now, when you look at the skills, you want to see, are there any bonuses that are going to give to any of those stats, right? So like if I look at the white magic, there's nothing there. We can see there's nothing inside here. There's nothing here. There's nothing there. All right, so we don't have anything on, we don't have anything on this character that is innately increasing his attack. So for instance, his tier 3 is going to boost his critical rate by 40%, right? But the way I typically tend to look at that, that's not doing anything for me because I'm only using a tier 3 every so often. So I'm not going to be constantly piping that where I'm going to have that critical rate up at all times. I want that critical rate up at all times though, right? So I want you to notice too, underneath the Loki, you can notice that I've got the Marvel Studios president Loki, right? And then if I go over here to the Agent of Asgard one, he's also beefed up. Like it's all the way max attack. His uniform options are the same. So let's change this up because I don't really need the attack speed, right? I was over on attack speed. I don't even need the dodge. So this is where it becomes difficult when you have things like this right here, because you want to basically be looking at these. The crowd control time, skill cooldown, definitely don't need. The movement speed, I guess in this regard, what I'm looking for would probably either be to level up my movement speed, because I don't really need anything else. And now this is going to change for everybody, and this is why you have to pay attention to how you're building your characters, right? The reason why this is going to change is because the way my cards build up versus the way your cards build up, completely different. Man, they really do not want to give me that goddamn movement speed. There we go. So like typically I wouldn't say movement speed is one of those things. Energy defense, trash. Go with the HP on these, or go with the energy attack or physical attack, depending on what your character is. I typically choose to go with HP all times because that's just me. HP over everything else. I want to stay alive a little bit longer for certain things. Man, they being stingy with these today. So then we come underneath here. We've got another attack. I'm going to change this up to HP as well. We could go with recovery rate, but I think I'm just going to go HP on this one. Like, I guess you got a difference in terms of recovery versus HP and which one you prefer. For me, I always prefer just the base level stat HP. That's going to be fine with me there. Right here, what do we get? Again, we get trash. I'm just leave that one at movement speed. And then the last one right here, we've got critical rate or energy attack. Obviously, I showed you guys I was low on that crit rate, so I'm going to hit that one up. We already had crit damage, so we were maxed out on those, right? So there we go. That's our Loki right now. We can go back into details now. We can look. We're at 67.0% right here, right? So you can see those. Our movement speed is over now by 5.13. We can see that my crit rate is just below. So what I typically will do after that is I'll go inside my character gear, and on these is where I fill out those stats. Now, like I said, the reason why this is going to be different for everybody is because when you go to your cards and you look at your cards, the stats across that you get for your cards are going to change. What you have versus what I have on a card is going to be completely different. Now, I will say that overall, it does seem relatively easy as long as you're aiming for the right cards to get your critical rate and your crit damage, your skill cooldown, your ignore defense, those stats. It seems relatively easy to get those up to a point where you're going to be maxed out on those at all times. Like if you go inside here and you look at my card effects, basically what you're looking for is for that cooldown control. Like my cooldown duration is way over. You only need that to be at about 35%. Your ignore defense, you want that to be about 35% as well. And then like as you build up your cards, you're going to see these change. Like my all attack is sitting at 84.1. My physical attack has no business being this high with my energy attack being this low, simply because I don't use a lot of physical attack characters. So there's no reason for my physical attack to be that high, or to be that high compared to my energy attack. I need to switch that around. Those are things that you're playing with inside your cards. So you're basically looking for. You can see my dodge rate is all the way up at like 45%. That's nice. My HP I could use to get that higher, right? My all defense, this shit don't matter at all. So that's what you're looking at, and that's what you're looking at filling out. You want to max out a character stats as much as possible. So when I go in here, I'm not going to do it across this video because it probably ain't going to make any time. What I'll end up doing is looking at ways to increase and improve my critical rate, my HP, and probably my recovery rate, along with my energy attack, because Loki's an energy attack based character. So a lot of people were complaining about something, and I'm going to point this out. They're like, why is Loki still a supervillain? Did y'all motherfuckers watch the goddamn show? Or like, I feel like a bunch of fucking retards live in this world. Excuse me, because I know I'll probably get canceled for using that word. I feel like a bunch of idiots live in this world. Like, did y'all watch the goddamn show? He was not a hero, you stupid motherfuckers. Let me be clear about this. When you watch Loki in a show, even Mobius is literally saying there that he's always going to see Loki to be what Loki is. Loki is self-serving trickster. That is what he is. Loki at all times is serving himself. The only reason why he comes across as a hero in the series is because he's facing off a bigger bad villain, Kang. He's literally still doing stuff out of his own self-interest. He falls in love with himself. Like, do you motherfuckers get? He was not a hero inside the show. Just because he was fighting against a bigger bad to do some shit, he was fighting for his own self-interest. He is a villain. Loki has always been a villain. Even when things are good for Loki, Loki is still finding villainous ways to be mischievous and do things for himself. He's a self-serving villain. He's a self-serving, egotistical narcissist. That's what Loki is. He is a villain. Stop trying to make it seem that because you watched this series and he was fighting against Kang and helping out the TVA, like you forgot to mention the whole point of the show was that you were trying to get him to act against his better nature. We were trying to get him to be something else. He was still a villain. Jesus Christ, I just felt like I had to say that. So let's take a look at his skills real quick. We get down in the dirty with these skills because I really like Loki's. Why did it give me the nah, we're gonna change that one. Where is it? No, you know what? I gotta show you that one anyways. So Loki's got basically new skills across the board. His 1 and 5 pretty much remain the same, but if you go inside, 2, 3, and 4 is basically where the changes really happen. So if I look at his 2 skill, he summons this podium right here where he basically does his speech from. It's pretty decent skill. But the 3rd skill is the one that looks really cool, where he summons multitudes of them and then they explode. And in his 4th skill, nice little floating Loki across the map. It's like a V skill that you don't really get, and then he disappears through teleportation. 5th skill, like I said, still the same as his previous one. I think Cynic Alex and Beast Mode was saying there's more hits on this one. I'd have to find out to be sure. And his 6th skill is still the same. He summons his chair, makes his walk across the field, changing into all his other variants. Still no Kid Loki. Can we get Kid Loki, please? So there you go with that, right? So the skills are still the same. They changed slightly for his variant Loki. So let's equip that one, because that's the one I'm probably going to keep him equipped with. I really like the look of this one. I can't believe I just did that. I'm so stupid. Like I said, guys, I ain't feeling so great. Let's get back over here to Loki. Uniform, Universal, where's he at? Universal Loki. Yeah, there you go, Loki. All right, so let's take a look at these skills. These skills do change just a little bit. They're still mostly the same in terms of animation. Like, you know, if you go to 1, yeah, there you go, still really the same, right? You go to 2 and he teleports through a portal, multiples of them, and he does attacks. I really like the way that skill looks, especially compared to his President Loki uniform. His 3rd skill is almost the same, summons the timeline, but in this one he changes, and you notice nobody's at a podium, and it's just a bunch of the variant Lokis or uniforms popping up, and then they all disperse and blow away. His 4th skill as well changes. He's just using these teleportation windows like it's nobody's business, and he's getting at them, right? And then his 5th skill, ooh, still the same, right? Still the same. So I kind of like, I don't know, like For me, I like this uniform better than I do the other one, but that's going to be a test to determine which one is actually ultimately better. Like I said, if you look at some of the skill effects and stuff like that on his skills, clearly it looks to me like on paper his other uniform would be better, I think. But I think I'm going to end up sticking around with this Loki, the TVA variant, because I just really like the way it looks. And like I said, one thing that you're going to end up running into certain characters where it's like, there's no way I'm going to play as Loki, for instance, right? And I'm going to roll all the way back to, you know, this Loki. It ain't happening, right? I'm not going to roll back to his, you know, Lady Loki. It ain't going to happen. Those uniforms are well past their time, well past their worth. I'm not going back to those, right? Those wouldn't be there. But like between his two uniforms, his most recent ones, you choose, especially when synergy uniforms come up, you choose which one works for you, which one's better for you. But like I said, don't invest in a character if you don't intend to play as a character, because then you're just wasting resources. Like Loki is somebody that I will invest in because I still use him quite a bit in Shadowland, especially at higher levels, and I do intend to T3 him. It's just right now, like I said, in the past like year, oh my god, the amount of universal characters that we've had drop. I mean, from Mephisto, Sentry, Dormammu's new character update, Odin's new update. I mean, even Scarlet Witch and Vision getting their update, the drop that I've been waiting for a minute now, with Blue Marvel. You know, Captain Marvel, she just got a new update. We've got Black Bolt finally got his T3 and everything like that. Like, if you look at the litany of characters that we got in the universe, I'm still waiting for freaking Richard Rider to get his T3. Please do my man some justice. It's really cool, really cool. By the way, just for my Marvel Future Revolution peeps, there's not a single uniform in this game, in this Marvel Future fight at all, that compares to any of the to the look of Loki inside Marvel Future Revolution. I would be ecstatic if Netmarble was like, yo, we need that costume inside of Marvel Future Fight, because that one is just bomb as hell. Well, guys, there you go. That's about it on Loki. I'm going to tell you right now that there's probably going to be some good usages for him. I'm going to probably do another short video trying to do some comparisons between his two uniforms to try to explain like the skill rotation and what you should be looking for. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, remember, like and subscribe. Peace.